I'm Corbett Wall with DV Auction, here with your feeder flash for Wednesday, October the 24th, where the board reclaimed much of the gains that we saw on Monday from the bullish cattle on feed report. And as bullish as it was, 5 percentage points missed by the average and analyst guess on placements to the bullish side. I guess we pretty much lost all of the push that we had from it, because we did reclaim some of that coming back. But you look at the board for October live cattle, down 2 cents, 112.77 to end the day on Tuesday. December was down 92, ending the day at 117.15. October feeder cattle down 57 cents at 155.07, and November down $1.05 at 155.87. One thing I want to remind everybody about is be sure and vote. Most places have voting early already, and you could get in there and vote, especially if you're going to be busy on November the 6th. And our great president, Donald Trump, he needs the help with some of these congressional races, and the tough love that we had going through this, getting some of these trade deals straightened out. We've gone through the roughest part of that. Now we've got to follow through on those deals, and we definitely need to do that. That speaks double for you guys here in Texas that are trying to make sure that the Irish Mexican doesn't get in and take Ted Cruz's spot, and that goes triple for you guys in Missouri at my previous home state, getting rid of Claire McCaskill. But fat cattle sales, early in the week we've already seen a few. In Iowa we've seen some dress sales from 172 all the way up to 176. Of course, most of them are around 174 and 75, but a little bit of push here this week already that shows that we're probably going to see at least a mild gain if things don't completely fall apart. Didn't get quoted yet, imagine that, on mandatory price reporting, but I did hear a pretty strong rumor, and I've never known of this guy's rumors to be false, that there was some 112 paid in Iowa to a regional packer there, and and a pretty good slug of them at 112. So, and we also know that we had some firm bids way late in the week at 111 and a half, even after the trade happened last week, at the end of last week. So we're going to gain at least a buck here, and I wouldn't ask any less than 115 for you guys in the Southern Plains that are going to establish the market. But box beef cutout values strong on choice so far this week. Tuesday's afternoon close, 212.28 for choice cuts, up $1. Select down 80 cents at 196.86. Pretty wide choice select spread of $13.42. But let's talk about your feeder cattle markets. Real-time index on Cattle Market Central late in the day on Tuesday at 153 and a quarter, down 97 cents, and it's just continued pressure from this huge stampede of calves that we've got moving, especially in the Northern Plains. I mean, droves of them. Philip the Giant, you can watch it every Tuesday here on DV Auction, but had another huge sale, and I tell you what, they're just having the biggest calf runs you can imagine. Another 10,000 head plus here, and just swarms of calves, and all of them good, high quality calves. I noticed in the report on Cattle Market Central, which they weren't done with the sale when I recorded this, but on the 5-weight steers, they had a weighted average price on all of them at 176.58, which is awful good, but just sheer pressure from heavy supplies, about $4.50 lower than the weighted average price from a week ago. 6-weight steers had a weighted average of 169.21. That was about $2.50 lower than the previous week, but they did have some yearlings there, 1,000 or more yearlings. 9-weight steers averaged 158.65, and the weighted average on those 9 weights was $8.50 higher than last week, including this quote here on Cattle Market Central: 54 head of steers in Philip in the morning before they started the big droves of calves, 913 pounds and $161. Pretty impressive. OKC West and El Reno. Like I said earlier in the week, things have kind of straightened out. We've dried out a little bit, and they're back to rolling in El Reno. 4,000 head of calves there, a pretty good run there in their own right. The weaned calves, the steers that were long time weaned, $6 to $10 higher on those Wheaties. The heifers were steady to firm on the weaned types. Unweaned calves just continuing to sell off the market, and really hard to tell what the trend is on those. If they're not going to wean their calves, you're just going to be somewhere below what the better calves are selling, what the weaned calves are selling. And if you want to have an idea of what your cattle are going to bring, you've got to get the quality at least par, and you've got to have the condition right on them. But West Plains, Missouri did not have a huge sale, but just a kind of a mediocre run for them, less than 3,000 head, but did have another slug of those Gardner yearlings from Batesville, Arkansas. And come through on Cattle Market Central right here, 216 head of them. They weighed 898 pounds. They were 75% black, average in flesh, had a long haul on them and a good way up, and bring $153.60. That's a pretty good price there in South Central Missouri on some Arkansas cattle. Look at a high quote on some light calves in Riverton, Wyoming. 90 head of 384-pound steer calves bring $213.50. And that's your feeder flash for Wednesday.